Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to discuss how to make an application for transcription. So the purpose of this application is pretty simple, that the user will give an audio file and we want to convert it into text. So for this we will use speech recognition in this tutorial, and we will use Tkinter for user interface. The user interface is pretty simple for this application. There is just one button for browsing the audio and another button for getting the transcription, and then we will get the live pop-up of the transcription of whatever the audio that is being given as subject. So without wasting more time, let's start with the tutorial. First thing we need to do is we are going to import speech recognition, which we will use for the transcription main functionality. Then we are going to import the Tkinter, and then from Tkinter we want another thing, file dialog. So we'll use file dialog for allowing the user to browse through his system and select a file that will allow us to get the file path, and then we can use that audio in as a test sample. So with that our imports is done for this application. Now what we are going to do, as I described in the last tutorial, first we are going to make the shell of the application, and then we are going to plug in the functionality. So the shell of the functionality, the shell of the application is, let's call the class Transcriber. Okay, so first thing first, we need to define constructor for this class. Let's define a root window. For this application, for this tutorial, I'm not gonna set the screen as resizable, because I don't want it to be resized. I don't see any point in resizing this application. You'll see in a minute why. So we're going to keep them false. We don't want it to be resized in any dimension, in width or height anyway. Okay, so first let's start with giving a title. So what we need for this is we need to give it a label. Let's call the text. Let's say that this is a heading which is describing what this application is, and we want to give it the font of Arial. Let's say we don't want it too big, we just want it to be a size of 50, and we want it in bold. Okay, so let's back this label. Quickly run this. You'll see that this is a heading for our application, which is describing this is a transcriber application. And let's now pack a browse button for our user. Okay, so for this, let's say that we want to say anything around browse audio file. Okay, so that's our text, and now we want to give it the font, and the font is, again, we are going to use the same font as above. So let's just quickly copy it from here and put it over here. Okay, so that we are done with the font. We know what we want it to be to say. So the last thing, as you would recall, is the command. For this, again, we are putting a placeholder. So we have a placeholder function called self.browsefile. What this function will do is pretty simple. It's going to, let's copy it for later on. Okay, so what this is going to do is that it will allow the user to browse through it. Self dot browse file dot back. So we named it. Oh, okay. So let's call this one button. So we won't have the same name for both things. Okay. So okay. So now if you run it, you will see that you have the transcriber. Okay, sorry. Got to make the function first. Let's make the placeholder function, which is outside this function. That's it. This is just pass right now. There is no functionality. You see you have a button over here. You can click it. And one more thing is that you need to change the font size. As you can see, I forgot that as well. And there you go. Okay, just for the sake of it, let's not make it bold because it's just making confusion. So let's just keep it like this. That makes more sense. Okay, so now we have a button which is describing the which is allowing the user to browse, and we want to add another button which is going to be called transcribe button. For this, we are just going to copy it from here, put it over here, and we want this to say transcribe. Again, we don't want it to be in this, we want it to be 10, and this will call transcribe audio. Again, let's make a function for this one as well. Okay, so now we have two functions, placeholder functions, and we just have what's left is we need to back the so this is our application's user interface. We have a browse button, we have a transcribe button. So first things first, let's implement the browse button implementation. For this, it's pretty simple. All I need from here is that, okay, first thing we should define over here is just a variable called self.file path, and this for now is just none. And what this function is going to do is this is going to get the file path by calling to the file dialog dot ask open file. Okay, so first so in this I'm just gonna take one type of files. You can add multiple type of files. There's a link of my blog for the tutorial of this application. I'll write down a small portion over there just to show you guys how you can manipulate more type of audio files. Let's say you want to work with MP3 or MP4 or other files. You can also work with MP3 files and WAV files. Currently, we are just going to work with. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to give the file types. We have given it WAV files, and this means any file with the name of with this extension. So we have defined what kind of extension we are looking for. It's going to allow the user to browse those. So in a minute we'll see what exactly happens when what's the benefit of you doing this. So now we want to give the global path the local variable path, and this is how you will implement browse file. This will allow you to browse any kind of file pretty easily. So now we need to implement the main functionality. So with this part, your user interface is designed, it is working, it's plugged in. So okay, just for a second, let's say we want to run it over here as well. So if you click over here, now you can see you can if you click over here, it doesn't show you anything because there is no .wav file over here. However, if I go here and I think I have placed a WAV file, okay, there we go. So you see, we can see a WAV file over here. If you click on it, you can simply, it will get the path of this file. So with that said, let's start implementation of the main functionality of this application, which is again using the speech recognition. So first of all, we are going to initialize the recording for the recognizer class like this. Now we can use speech recognition class for this. We are going to give the path of the audio file, so we can, so basically this is equivalent to loading up the audio file into the system. Now how we can do that is pretty simple. We are going to say with audio file, or here you give the local variable audio file, plug it in, and you can make it the source. So you have made your audio file as the source, and now once you have done that, what we are going to do is we are simply going to get the audio data by recognizer dot record source. There you have the audio data. So we can make, let's just call it transcribed text. So for this, we are going to use, there are multiple options over here. We, as you can see, recognize Amazon and Google Cloud. There are a lot of options you can use from any of these options. For the time being, let's go with this one, Google Cloud, and we give it the audio data, and then we, okay, now over here, if you're making an audio transcriber which is designed for a specific language, let's say you're making a transcriber just for English and you want the user to give audio files with just English, you can give the code for it. I think it's EN. However, for my case, I want it to handle multiple languages, so I'm gonna put here auto. This algorithm, recognize cloud algorithm, will also use its deterministic detection algorithms to actually first analyze what kind of language it is, and then it will start transcribing it. So okay, now what to do with this text? This is the last part where I wanted to show the text as a pop-up. For the pop-up, let's first define a function called show pop-up. So in show pop-up, all I need to do is I need to define a pop-up as talk level, and then I am going to give it title. So this function, whenever it will be called, will take heading, it will take a message. So for in the title, just okay. In the title, you simply plug in the heading, and in the message part, which will be the label, which is inside that window. It will be a small window which pops up in front of the main user interface, and within that you're just gonna put a label. You're gonna give it whatever the pop-up was. That is going to be, in our case, the transcribe text, and we are going to give the text to yeah. So now you have given the window where you want it to happen, and what's the text that you want to put in it, and then let's give a small padding so that the text is not cut it out or something like this doesn't happen. Let's just say that for safety, let's pad 20 and 10, 10 in height, 20 in width, because we want to keep the width a little bit bigger and the height as well a little bit bigger, so the text is pretty clear and readable. So for this, we are just gonna pack the label. Okay, now you have this, and let's say that I want the user to be able to close it as well. So let's say that we have okay button. Just add a small button over here called tk dot. Okay, so what we want to do over here is, again, we want to plug in the this that this is going to be on this window, and the text is going to be okay. It's normally okay only, so I'm just gonna leave it over here like this. And let's say that we don't mess with the font, we just give it the command. So what will happen over here is pretty simple. We're just gonna use the window and we are going to destroy it. So what's the problem? Okay, so we have okay button dot back. Right, now we have a show pop-up over here, so let's go down over here and just call it. Very simply, as I said, we're just going to get the transcribe, and we over here are going to call the show pop-up button, and this is the transcript. This is the heading, and this is the message. So we have effectively plugged in the message over here, and we are just going to return. Basically, we don't need to return anything over here. If we try this now, you will see that if you try. So now we are going to run this application, and so this is the sample input. This is a test audio for auto transcriber to test the functionality of the application. Let's go to browse, and this is the audio file, and hit the transcribe button. And there you go. This is the transcribed text. I'll read it out. This is a test audio for auto transcriber to test the functionality of the application, which is exactly what I said in the audio file. And there you have it, guys. So this is how you can make an auto transcriber application in Python using Tkinter and speech recognition. Again, you guys can use all the APIs which are integrated into the speech recognition. However, I will mention over here that the Google Cloud or other Amazon Azure, all those applications, not all of them are free. Actually, majority of those will require you to have an Azure or Amazon or Google Cloud Vision. Google Cloud, basically, not Vision. It's a part of Google Cloud, but it's used for image processing and deep learning tasks over there. So you will need an account in these particular services, and then you will be able to create some different. They have different methodologies for credential verification. Google Cloud, I know, uses JSON files. However, there's a command prompt one line which you can use for Amazon. You can also use a small basically configuration file for Amazon, which you can create using the console. There are many methodologies for that as well. There's also a Python API called Boto3 for Amazon, which you can use for working with Amazon. However, for here you don't need the Boto3. You can use speech recognition. You can send a query up to the Amazon audio tool. However, for that you will need credentials. So you guys can check what are the options in speech recognition and which of those options are currently free, because these things change over time. So I cannot be sure at the time of making this video which were free, and at the time of being viewed what were the remaining free APIs. So with that, guys, you guys have good luck. Play along with it. If you have any questions for me, drop it down in the comment section and I'll get back to you. And I'll come back into the next video with a new tutorial for you guys. Till then, stay tuned.